Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Neca, the Phantom of the Opera, Masque of the Red Death Ultimate action figure. I pre-ordered this from the Neca store. It arrived today, so let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, some of the actors from the original film from 1925, 100th anniversary. The Phantom of the Opera, Ultimate, Masque of the Red Death Phantom. Here's the front, kind of like a movie poster. One side, here he is posed up. Other side, without the mask. At the back, here's the figure. Tons of different accessories and interchangeable parts. The Phantom of the Opera. At the bottom, there is the barcode, if it helps anybody. This is one of Neca's Ultimate figures. Here, window box packaging. You can hear the Velcros open up. On the inside flap, we have the figure posed up. And then here he is with all the accessories. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. He comes with some pretty cool stuff. Mainly, the large oversized cloak. He has 5 alternate hands, totaling 7 interchangeable hands. He's got 3 different heads, a hat, a large soft goods cloak, and a skull staff. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is the Phantom, or Eric, in his iconic Red Death disguise from the Masquerade Ball. Hiding his disfigured face beneath the skull mask, he spies on Christine and Raoul on the rooftop of the Paris Opera House. He's always been sort of a hideous guy, so this is the only way he can sort of interact with people. So let's take a closer look. Start with his face here. He's wearing this sort of skull mask. You can see his real nose underneath there. If you look at the neck, you can see it's just a mask on top. He's got this sort of pirate-looking bandana, creepy smile, creepy mask, a little sort of ruffled thing around his collar. And then we have this red outfit. It looks like something a dancer in the theater would wear. Kind of has some tights down there, single jointed knees, a little bag hanging off to the side. It looks like maybe double jointed elbows. We'll check that out in depth shortly. The outfit's pretty, I guess, cool. I mean, not for today's standards, but it makes for a pretty cool figure. Definitely not something I ever expected them to make, nor did I feel like I needed my extra collection. But once they showed it, I felt like I had to have it. The mask, the skull mask, is really cool. The alternate heads and hands, in theory, you can use those with the previous Phantom figure. And I love the cloak, staff, and hat. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, it is very creepy, and it's even creepier. You can see some of the regular features like his nose and eyes through the mask. Good detail on the skull mask, and in your action figure world, you can just keep him like this as some sort of horror type figure, but the real horror figure is underneath the mask. Still, I think it looks pretty damn cool. It's almost like a skull sort of pirate type character. And then here's the figure broken down as far as he can go with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. And let's start off with his hands. He has a total of 7 hands, 3 left hands and 4 right hands. Here's a look at his first pair of hands. These are a pair of default hands. They would look good relaxed at his sides. And his second pair of hands, these are sort of a pair of gripping hands. Right hand has a pretty small grip, and the left hand is semi-open, a much larger grip. And here's his third pair of hands. These are some more or less open hands. This hand is open, fingers slightly curled, could be grabbing something. And this one has 2 fingers extended. And he has 1 additional right hand. This one is a pointing hand. Now let's look at his heads. He has a total of 3 of them. 1 has a skull mask, and that's probably the coolest one for this figure. And then we have 2 with the ugly phantom head. 1 is giving a side eye, and then 1 has the mouth open, sort of a screaming head. Now Neca advertises this as having interchangeable head and hands that work with previous Phantom figures, and that's true, but they really don't need to advertise that feature, as the original one came with these same heads, except for the skull mask, which would make no sense on that version of the Phantom. Here he is with his first head. This one has the sort of pirate skull mask. And here's his second head. This is the actual Phantom head with the ugly teeth, and then giving you a serious left side eye. And here's his third head. This one has that same ugly mug, but it looks like he's screaming right now. His mouth is open. And then here's his hat. It's described as a large brim hat. It's a gorgeous looking hat, and it has this huge amount of feathers coming out of the back. The hat actually goes on top of his head, and I think it's a fantastic accessory. Here's a look at the Phantom wearing that hat. Now we have his cloak. This thing is awesome. It is cloth soft goods, got a bendy wire, and it is enormous. The material is fantastic. It just sort of lays down there, doesn't wrinkle up very easily. It's got this top part to wrap around his neck, and it has a little sort of string to tie it. There's a bendy wire on either side, so you can kind of get some posing purposes. It's not that strong, so it could be a little better there. And it has the sort of glittery stuff along the border. Very cool. It stretches out a massive amount. It looks great, and it's going to be way too big for him, but that is just awesome. Like I said, it stretches out a massive amount. I mean, you can just see how big the cape or cloak is compared to the figure. Here's a look at the Phantom wearing that cloak. That thing is going to absolutely drag behind him. It would be so dirty after a night at the Masquerade Ball. It looks great. Honestly, you could sort of have him draping the cape over to one side. It's got that bendy wire for different posing purposes. It's just a really, really nice prop. It has a string that goes around his neck, and you can fit it under the ruffly part of his shirt. Works out great. It is going to drag on the ground, but it looks absolutely fantastic. And like I said before, the cape is absolutely massive. It stretches out really, really far. And it just hangs down so nicely. The material is excellent. And as final accessory, we have this skull staff. Not only is it a skull staff, but it has a snake wrapped around it. So we got the skull at the top, the snake is biting it. Then we have this black sort of staff, which is very long, and it has a snake wrapping all the way around. Very cool. And then here's the Phantom holding on to that snake staff. And now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.2 inches tall, which would translate to about 18 centimeters, and that is without the hat. If you put the hat on, he's standing about 7.5 inches tall. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course, you're going to rotate side to side. If you wanted to, you could even have that little bandana piece go all the way over him. He can look down, not too much, and up just a little bit. Can tilt his head a littlest bit from side to side. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He's got a single jointed elbow. I wasn't sure if it was single or double jointed at first, but it's definitely single. Goes in about 90 degrees and has rotation, which is a little bit limited. His wrist can rotate, and it's hinged, although you don't get much out of that. The little sleeve there makes it kind of hard to grab and swap the hands out and to articulate them. Torso is one solid piece. In his waist, he's got a ball joint to rotate around, forward and back. Legs are on ball joints as well. They go out about that far. They can rotate, at least independently against the ball a little bit. Single jointed knee goes back a little bit more than 90 degrees, once again with rotation. And his ankle. Forward and back a little bit. Rotate also a little bit. It's not really moving very much there. And that's about it in the tilt rock department, not much there. Looks like I can go forward and back a little bit more than I initially showed. Just can't get that rotation to do much. But you have that in the knee. Here's a look at the Phantom, posed up, holding that skull scepter. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Neca figures. Here's the red crimson version of the Phantom, next to Neca's original version. Can you believe it? The movie is on its 100th anniversary. And Neca has already made 2 versions of the Phantom. The regular color version, and then the glow-in-the-dark version. I totally see them making a black and white version in the future. And even though he's not a horror figure, here's Neca's Phantom from Phantom of the Opera, next to Neca's Phantom from the old school comic strips. And here he is, next to Neca's Professor Burke from London After Midnight. also played by Lon Chaney. Here's the Phantom, next to some older NECA Universal Monster figures. We have Frankenstein's Monster, Dracula, the Mummy, and the Wolfman. And here, with some more modern horror icons, Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, and Leatherface. And here he is, next to Nosferatu. If you think The Phantom is an old horror movie, Nosferatu is much older. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a NECA figure, they are typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and then work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his NECA brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figures, all from NECA Toys, all 7-inch scale, and now with some Jack-specific wrestling figures and Diamond Select toys. Here's the Phantom, next to a bag of trail mix. And here he is, with some McFarlane and DC Direct figures, then with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures, and now with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures, next with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a pretty cool Phantom figure. I love the hat. I love the cloak even more. His skull scepter is really cool, and his skull mask is also very cool. Now the body, he's in a really sort of old, dated outfit, but it's from 100 years ago, so you gotta kind of accept these sort of things, and it doesn't bother me at all. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks like an old sort of ballet dancer type outfit with the tights. Looks like he's in a play. Now I've actually never seen the original Phantom. I'm familiar with some of the later Phantom of the Opera films. It looks cool. I'll have to track it down one day. I meant to do this when I got the Phantom figure initially, but, you know, easy to get sidetracked. The figure's very cool. His articulation is good, a little bit limited, but you don't really need a super articulated Spider-Man type of Phantom figure. If I had to rate this guy, probably a 7 out of 10. I mean, he looks cool. Not my favorite. The legs are very thin. Articulation's a little bit on the weak side of things. The accessories are awesome. And the figure itself looks really cool, really creepy. It's going to be great for Halloween time, for your horror collection, or just some random dude in a crazy, scary monster type outfit. I like it. I like it a lot. And I love that cloak. The cloak, the hat, the skull face, and the scepter are fantastic. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.